Today's meme: have you ever felt a connection with someone? Not in lust or in their image, but in the richness of their soul and in the vibes they give off. My comment was, as I reposted this, I felt connections with many people. However, their ability to sense this connection wasn't there, and my inclination to explore a relationship with them was turned into a meager attempt to fulfill their lust, for example. Suffice it to say, I don't try to connect with earth people anymore because the potential I see in the relationship is never fulfilled. They don't have the capacity to think of a relationship as anything higher than an ego game, cheap sex, getting me to retake them, or an occasion to dump all their woes on me. Or worse, they approach me because they want something. Yes, I realize you always attract your wounds until they're healed. However, I'm still attracting these superficial people, and I realize that as a Blu-ray empath, I will always attract negativity because I'm supposed to help heal it. If anyone wants healing from being a victim, I have a free e-course on my website called Stop Being a Victim. When you do this course, the day will come when you won't have any complaints to dump on people who may or may not want to hear them. If you want me to retake you now, the solution is easy. I say no. If you want cheap sex with me now, the solution is easy. I say no. If you're into ego games, I'm not, and I will quickly excuse myself and you'll never see me again. That's how to deal with that. I've had every experience going, and I believe most of it was for me to understand myself through seeing who I wasn't. I couldn't find myself on Earth. And I expect as a light worker, I'm not alone in this. I am a very frustrated person. My relationships, other than 2 friends I made in high school who I still connect with on Facebook, and my sister, have ended up a big goose egg every time. There were a couple guys I thought would make good partners, but things didn't work out. One was an artist who restored stained glass in England's churches. He was into geometric designs too. But at the time he had someone he was living with, and his ex-wife was driving me to drink. So I threw that baby out with the bathwater and lost touch with all of them. The other one I met in Toronto. He was working on his spirituality, was a vegan and just a nice guy. We spent a lot of time together and I friend listed him because he took too long. I took this as his disinterest in me and that I had made an incorrect assumption about how he felt about me. I also could see that everything we did was what he wanted to do, and frankly I was well aware that I was, again, hanging out with someone who saw women as being part of his world only. Relationships are difficult, but they are extremely difficult when you're used to dealing with them at a higher level and all you get is people coming from their ego here. I realize now I brought with me and remembered a lot from my home planet and past lives lived at levels up to 12D. It was undeniable and created a lot of frustration for me here on Earth when I had higher intentions, but these were met with lower vibrational behaviors. I still remember where I worked, the guys used to flirt with the women in the office. We'd get invited to parties and drunk ups at the bar, and all these guys would suddenly start acting as if we were the world's most desirable women, and they were all vying for attention from us. I realized it was because they wanted us to pick our favorite so that the winner could rub it in his friends' faces. It had nothing to do with actually wanting a relationship with any of us, or wanting to be in love with us. I couldn't understand beforehand, but I'm a quick study. I learned this was an ego game and the office women were the pawns. I wouldn't expect it to be any different now with these same men, or any other men, unless of course they have some spirituality and were in touch with their higher consciousness. Women are just as bad in some ways, I know. There are gold diggers who go to bars to find rich men to spend money on them. I'm not saying this to pick on men. I'm saying this because my experiences are of a heterosexual female. I was constantly, and am still constantly accosted with reactions that clearly tell me the person doesn't understand my intention. I understand my intention. And I believe the reason I feel so alone in this is because lightworkers are here to change the world, not to live in it. We're the ugly duckling. We're the fish out of water. We're the ones who bring higher consciousness to this planet because it is sorely lacking and very much needed. But to retrieve what we have repressed as well at times, we have to be exposed to these shocks. Waking up is not an easy process. Waking up to who you truly are. I see many lightworkers and star seeds who are having relationship problems. They need to know it so you can learn who you are, so you can learn to be more loving, so you can learn to be more empowered, so you can learn to choose the higher road, so you can learn to be more forgiving and more patient. Sometimes when you've been taught not to say no, it's so you can learn to say no again. I was told that at one point my throat chakra was bypassed by the energetic stream that goes up your spine. That's because I had learned not to say no to anyone. Once I learned and once I started to speak my truth, that bypass straightened out. I don't have trouble with either anymore, as you can see. My point is, as an empath I can sense your higher consciousness, but unless you're coming from it, I won't relate to you. Most people on Earth are stuck in their lower ego chakras and acting from them. That's why we have Ascension, to fix that problem. To connect you with your higher chakras and to allow you to live life from that higher aspect, while balancing your ego aspect and aligning them with your higher consciousness. Right, Ivo? Ivo, you were doing fine, my love. Me, I know. But your input is always so awesome. Ivo, in fact, yes. Your physical chakras, the lower three, when in alignment, align with your higher consciousness. They do have a role, but it is not to be the dominant aspect of your being. Many of you are going through this process now, where you eschew ego sex and instant gratification because you find it unfulfilling and not what your soul wants for you. You have been in ego-dominated relationships and have allowed yourself to be dominated, or you dominate the other and now refuse to be in such a relationship because it is not what you want. The higher consciousness does not want this. You cannot behave from a place of lower consciousness anymore because you are seated in the higher consciousness. Now it is a question of realigning your lower chakras by ridding yourself of the blocks you have accumulated throughout your life, and this is what many of you are doing now. This will, in effect, seat you in your higher consciousness and give expression to that higher aspect of your being, instead of your ego and lower consciousness. It is wondrous to behold those transitioning. Just look at the things you used to do that you would not do anymore. That is how much you have grown. Me, yeah, and I always have these remember whens when you read about something or think about someone and how you related to them as an ego, or in my case, as an ego and a soul, because I was aware of both the whole time, which created a load of inner conflict and frustration within me. You think of that person and you just say, uh-huh. Not a chance. People you would have gladly hung out with are now no ways. Because you learned the lesson and your ego issue was resolved. Now you know better and you want better for yourself. You don't want the bad stuff anymore. You want the good stuff. I've walked away from our matrix ego lifestyle. I want nothing to do with it anymore. Ivo, yes. And I keep saying to you, my love, you were searching for me your entire time. Me, I was. Now I just have to get you to land. One thing at a time, I guess. Ivo, it will not be long. Me, define a long time, please. Ivo, you will see. Me, so the point of this video is to tell lightworkers that you are transitioning away from lower mind and ego consciousness, to higher mind and love unity consciousness. And the people coming into your life are showing you what you don't want to be. Just say no. If you still want to hang with them, well, that's your choice, but I prefer not to be around anyone who just looks like a phony to me. They look fake, and they are fake because they are not coming from the only part of them that's authentic, the loving part, because only love is real. Ivo, I wish to point out that the lightworkers are transitioning away from lower mind to higher mind and love unity consciousness, although there may lack opportunity to behave in these new ways at this point in time, to bring what is in your minds into the physical and to create this as a physical reality. Remember, you are in a transitional period, and it is important to become aware of how you would prefer to live, but that opportunity may not be created for you yet. But hold on to the ideal you have, as it will materialize for you. Me, thanks, Ivo. Yes, we have these idealized notions of what life should be about, but we don't get the opportunity to put them into action because oftentimes we don't have anyone near us to cooperate in order to co-create this new reality. Well, I'm hearing that lightworkers are gathering together in the physical and friending each other that way, and then there will be new cities and towns that we're going to build so we can co-create our higher reality together. Based on what seems like idealism right now, but we see it as realism. I know I do. As for now, I'd rather be alone. Speak my language or else I won't talk to you. It's that simple. I'm tired of old 3D. The other thing that came up for me last night is that we are swimming in a sea of lies. Even the package of baby spinach I cut open last night had loads of more mature pieces in them. Nothing is honest. There are lies everywhere. Personally, being lied to makes me feel crazy, and that's because a lie is of lower vibration. Trying to find an honest business anymore is hard. Even spinach. But I guess I have to have faith, because there are others like me on this planet who are fed up of the lies as well and want to create a world of honesty and truth, like I want. People say to read the label on packages. I prefer not to, because you know they are not the truth anyway. There's stuff in there you don't want to eat. I just don't buy stuff that lies to me. I've been boiling the city water because it stinks like organics. Another lie. The water is clean and filtered. I did up the Ontario Water Minister's report one year for a client, and I can tell you there were a lot of infractions. Not all water is filtered even to required standards. Then I read that they can't filter out cocaine and estrogen from women's birth control pills out of the water anymore. So there you go, you're drinking other people's urine. I'm tired of lies. Businesses of this world need to start being accountable to who they are serving. Nobody sees it as a service anymore. They act like they're doing us a favor. Well, when the water is unclean, and worse, fluoridated, you're not doing anyone a favor. Ivo, I see it is the full moon, and you are feeling the energy, my love. Me, I always do. I'm going to go out and howl tonight. Ivo, very well. Perhaps it will remain clear, and you can look for ships tonight. Me, good idea, Ivo.